I'm AJ Marion. My co-host is Dr. Joshua Hare, and Dr. Joshua Hare will introduce Dr. Bowley shortly. Dr. Hare is director of Donald Sofer Endowed Program in Regenerative Medicine. He is endowed professor of molecular cellular pharmacology and biomedical engineering and director of Interdisciplinary Stem Cell Institute. First, a few words about JCA. So I would like team, would you kindly switch Dr. Bowley's screen off so I can share mine? This will stop. All right, let's stop. All right, this is now, let me go to JCA. All right, so this program is part of the, can you all see my screen?
Yes.
Excellent. So this program is part of the JCA webinar series, the Journal of Cardiovascular Aging, which started publishing in 2021. And one of the most important contribution of the journal has been this webinar series. We have very prominent scientists, clinician scientists speaking at this platform. JCA is, although the Journal of Cardiovascular Aging, we really look into the broad picture, not really restricted to aging and mostly cardiovascular sciences of all categories, because we really think aging starts from the birth of the cell, from the very beginning. It is certainly a peer-reviewed journal. Our mantra, however, is to empower the authors, and we work with the authors and try to eliminate unnecessary, unneeded experiments, which are often decorative and don't change the main message of the paper. So we are very friendly to authors and happy to work with every single one to ultimately get a paper published. And we are relatively quick in getting the papers from submission to publication. JCA now is indexed in the Scopus, and we are in the process of being evaluated by PMC and PubMed for listing on those journals as well. And soon we'll be gathering impact factor. Our site index right now at the Scopus is 2.3 and expected to rise. We publish all categories of papers, and submission could be platform free, and then we move on, and once the paper get accepted, we will adjust the platform as needed. We have a distinguished panelists, our associate editors and consulting editors, including Dr. Bowley, who is the legendary editor, former editor of Circulation Research, which really totally transformed the Circ Research when he was at the helm of the journal and raised the impact factor of it to highest ever been, and initiated over 40 different programs at Circ Research that are still ongoing. So we are doing well. We have about 65 papers already cited and included in PubMed and PMC, and we're pushing toward getting into that. And overall, I would say the journal has been successful in making progress toward becoming an eminent, a prominent journal in cardiovascular field. Today's webinar is named after James T. Wollerson, MD. Dr. Wollerson, many of you know, is a world-class visionary. He was a world-class visionary leader, truly exceptional in his global vision in bringing cardiovascular sciences together. And there is no one better than Dr. Bowley to give this particular seminar, who is really an undisputed leader in cell therapy for heart failure. And my co-host, Joshua Hare, will make the introduction. I'd like to also appreciate Dr. Philip Yang, who has joined us as a panelist for this JCA, and Dr. Tagmeyer and a few others that have joined. With that, I will turn the podium to Joshua Hare to introduce Dr. Bowley. So I will turn off my screen and they will go back to Dr. Bowley's screen.
Thank you very much, AJ. It is really my privilege and honor to introduce Professor Robert Bowley, who will give today's James T. Willison, MD, lectureship. Dr. Bowley is Professor of Medicine, Physiology, and Biophysics, Legacy Foundation of Kentuckiana, Distinguished Chair in Cardiology, Director of the Institute of Molecular Cardiology, and a Distinguished University Scholar at the University of Kentucky. Dr. Bowley is an eminent clinician scientist. He's a pioneer in molecular studies of cardioprotection and the world's leading authority in cell therapy for heart failure. Dr. Bowley is a graduate of the University of Perugia in Italy in 1976. Shortly after graduating, he came to the United States and began his distinguished career in the United States. First as a fellow at the NHLBI in 1978 to 1980, and then pursuing clinical training in clinical cardiology at Baylor College of Medicine from 1981 to 1983. He joined the faculty there, rising through the ranks to full professor of medicine with tenure, and in 1994 moved to accept the position of chief of the Division of Cardiovascular Medicine at the University of Louisville, director of the Institute of Molecular Cardiology, and vice chair for research in the Department of Medicine. And he has remained at the University of Louisville, not the University of Kentucky. Dr. Bowley, I think, as many of us know, has had a very distinguished career. First, really unraveling some of the underlying mechanisms of myocardial stunning, reperfusion injury, and ischemic preconditioning. But over the past many decades, his work has taken on the translational challenge of understanding cell-based therapy in cardiovascular regenerative medicine. He's worked in this field for decades and has led and spearheaded numerous critically important clinical trials in this field. I think it warrants mention that his work, going back to very early mechanistic studies, established clearly that the types of adult human stem cells or human cells that are being used in current clinical trials do not themselves engraft and differentiate, rather have a paracrine effect. And this is a very important concept that has served as the underpinning for the field as it goes forward. Dr. Bowley is highly funded and highly cited. His Google H index is 130. As AJ mentioned, he was the legendary editor-in-chief of Circulation Research from 2009 to 2019, greatly raising the stature of that journal. Dr. Bowley has received numerous awards and honors. Notable is a Merit Award from the NIH in 2001, the Basic Research Prize from the American Heart Association in 2001, the Research Achievement Award from the ISHR, and the Lucian Award from McGill University. There are many other awards. I won't read the whole list. It's in the introduction. He's been inducted into the American Society of Clinical Investigation and the Association of American Physicians. And it is a delight and a privilege to have Dr. Bowley give today's James T. Willison lectureship.